Hi guys, welcome back to another unboxing video. It is beastly hot inside here, so I'm going to be enjoying a Johnny and Ginger. Cheers. Wow, quite spicy. Nice. So, I am not 100% sure what this keyboard is, but I think I know what it is. So let's go and have a look. Well, actually, when I say unboxing, this time it's more unbagging, I guess. There's a lot of filler material in here, so I think I can carefully cut into it. There you go. I could already hear from the rattling noise that there were a lot of switches inside, and whew, looks like that's the first thing that's greeting me. Let's have a look. Yes. Oh. Ooh. Bloody hell. So that is one. And I think you can see two more of them inside. Looks like we're getting these in 3 different flavors. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So, I'm sure you can't see them from here, but these are 3 different flavors of Keychron optical switches. And now you can probably already imagine why I requested this keyboard. So we have here Keychron optical red version 2, brown version 2, and blue version 2. I think I've shown the first version in, was it a teardown video or maybe a comparison video a long time ago? I can't even remember, frankly, but I've never tried them before in a keyboard. However, that is about to change soon. Let's go slaughter this bag just a little bit further. Come on. There you go. It is the Keychron K8. I've reviewed a few Keychrons before, and they were simple mechanical keyboards. Very nice, actually. I was quite impressed by them. Keychron have been heavily requested, so yeah, I figured let's take on some Keychrons. But then I found out that they also do a optical model, and I thought, well, let's give that a go, because some of you will know by now I really like contactless switches, and I've reviewed a lot of them by now, so I figured this would be a good keyboard to take a look at. Wow. Interestingly, for some reason it's called K8. I'm not entirely sure how their nomenclature works. I know the letter is series of keyboards. I think K is more basic and Q is more, you know, custom type and whatnot. And the bigger numbers usually mean bigger keyboards. But this K8 is a TKL, not full size. So I'm really not sure quite how this works, but whatever. There is probably some sort of method to this madness. Let's go and take a look inside. Whoa, man, that ginger beer is very strong, very gingery, and it's just the way I like it. And it is so hot in here. A tactile mechanical keyboard for peak productivity, as it says on the front. Actually, does the back say anything? Not that much. That's fine. Let's just proceed to the inside. Take a look at the goods. Here you go, a quick reference sheet with some keyboard shortcuts. Replacement keycaps. I'm gonna guess that this is either for different colors or Windows and Mac type. These are definitely Windows keycaps. Maybe it's laid out for Mac or a different color or something. We'll take a look at that in a second. Then a keyboard cable. Oh, nice, it's an angled one. That's useful to have occasionally. I have a lot of straight cables and, well, sometimes those are better, but it's useful to have the option. And a switch puller and keycap puller. This one's Keychron branded, very generic otherwise. I think I already have this. And a very simple switch puller. Right, the moment of truth. Manual here as well. Take a look at that later. Go away. Right, there you go. The Keychron K8. It's an interesting look. I think option command. Yes, this is laid out for Apple layout by default, so these are Windows replacement keycaps. Interesting how many keyboards are laid out for Mac by default nowadays. Not sure whether that was the case for the other Keychrons I reviewed. So, look-wise, the first thing that strikes me is that it's somewhere between an enclosed and a floating switch design. There are really no rims or anything apart from this huge rim here. It's like they took a floating switch keyboard and just gave it an upstanding edge. Interesting. Ooh. It's outfitted with something linear. In this case, yeah, it's red switch. Ooh. Oh yeah, this is a contactless keyboard. Wow, that's interesting. As always, I try to avoid actually reviewing keyboards until I get to the actual review. But let me just give it a try real quick. So unlike the Q Keychrons I reviewed before, which are their kind of high-end keyboards, so to speak, this one's much lighter. This is a plastic chassis one. It's more budget option. Let's see. So interestingly, the ports are on the left side, not at the rear. There's nothing at the rear. It's on the left, and there are two switches: Windows, Android / Mac OS. So let's stick that to Windows, and then cable, and then plug that in. And that seems to be going well. Yes, that's registering. Nice. Yeah, that's working perfectly. Interesting. Man, it's been so long since I've seen a cable actually come directly out of the left side of the keyboard. I think the last keyboard I had that did that might be, I don't know, might be one of my DOS keyboards, like a Zenith from the 80s or so. This is just really rare. Not necessarily bad, and in fact, the angled cable is definitely better than the straight cable I have plugged in now, in that case, because then the cable is already directed in the right direction. But interesting. The upstanding edge is really something. It's very minimalist looking. I can't remember. I think the other Keychrons I reviewed were more ostentatious, I think. This one's just two-tone grey and one orange key. Also comes with a grey escape key if you prefer that. Wow. That is interesting. So, I also asked them if they could provide me a few other switches of the other types. I guess they just gave me a whole set, which, I mean, I'm not complaining. So, an interesting thing about this is that they have these optical switches, these Keychron optical switches, in not just linear, almost all contactless switches are linear, but they also have them in tactile and clicky. And that's quite rare. Yeah. I really can't recall whether I did a switch teardown of these by now. So, the way they work, oh man, that's never gonna... You can never see that on camera, but it's got a little shutter at the bottom, and the plunger simply moves through that. And that interferes with an LED and a photoresistor. Interesting. Now, I think the reason that contactless switches are usually available in linear only is because, more or less by definition, contactless means that you have the lowest possible friction, but it's very difficult to make a tactile switch or a clicky switch that doesn't rub on something else. So then it's not really contactless anymore. It just doesn't have contact with contacts. Well, maybe I'm getting lost in terminology here. But in any case, that's very interesting. I might give it a go with 2 switch types or something. I definitely want to do a baseline with linear, because that's just kind of how you judge contactless switches, I guess. Especially in terms of smoothness, because then you have nothing to mask the smoothness. But I might also give the clickies and maybe even the tactiles a chance. Are these actually tactile? I mean, they are brown. No. Wow, this is absolutely untactile. Okay, sneak preview. These are not tactile, but I guess I hadn't expected anything else. Right, so I don't think I see a backlight. Maybe... What? Oh, maybe it's this. Maybe this keyboard doesn't have a backlight. Just like that previous keyboard I reviewed, there are a lot of different brightness buttons on this thing. I just tossed away the manual as well. I'm not sure this has any backlight. It's fine though, whatever, it doesn't matter. In any case, I don't want to spoil too much, so I think I'll just leave it at that, because I've been talking for quite a while. I'd say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and until the next video.